Hello everybody and welcome to the Theatre Shed Community Script Workshop for ages 12 and over. So the script that we're going to be working on first is Stranger Things Season 1 Episode 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers. So this particular episode was written by the Duffer Brothers. We're going to start off by looking at the 4 key characters in this scene. We're going to look at some of their characteristics. You can then decide what character you want to be. And you can adapt that to you. So obviously in this series, the 4 lead characters are male, but you don't have to be male. You can create a female character or whatever you like, non-binary character too, but taking on those characteristics that we're going to talk about. We will then look at the script, look at how a TV script is broken down and work from there at ploughing through, and eventually you guys will be able to go home, take this with you, develop it further and come back next week when we will layer it up with a bit more depth. So let's look at the Stranger Things synopsis. In November 1983 in Hawkins, Indiana, a scientist is attacked by an unseen creature at a US government laboratory. 12-year-old Will Byers encounters the creature and mysteriously vanishes while cycling home from a Dungeons & Dragons session with his friends Mike Wheeler, Dustin Henderson and Lucas Sinclair. So, Will, Mike, Dustin and Lucas are the 4 characters we are going to be playing in our scene. So let's first of all have a look at Will Byers. Will is soft-spoken, amicable and honest. Like his friends, he is exceedingly intelligent for his age, having an enthusiasm for science and being a member of their school's AV club. He also displays a lot of the same interests as his friends, such as Dungeons & Dragons, comics, like the X-Men, and films like Ghostbusters. He is also creative, having a passion for art and writing stories. However, his interests and social status resulted in him being bullied. This, along with his father's prior poor treatment of him, most likely led to feelings of alienation. So, we've got some really important facts here about Will. We know that he is kind, he's kind of in touch with his emotions, he's understanding, but he's also had perhaps a bit of trauma in his life. So this is going to create a certain type of personality for him. So these are things that I want you to really focus on when you're channeling the personality of Will Byers. Mike Wheeler. Mike is shown to be an optimist, morally compassionate, and highly committed to his friends, usually going to great lengths to help them. His D&D role as Dungeon Master suggests that he, like Will, is a creative thinker. Out of the 4 boys, he is the most emotionally open and rather gullible, being willing to accept fantastical explanations behind complex situations. After Will disappeared, he quickly drew a parallel to Will's defeat at the hands of the Demogorgon. So we're going to learn more about this defeat in our first scene, but you've got some really key characteristics here that I've made bold for you. So again, key things for you to focus on when you're going to channel the character of Mike Wheeler. Next up is Dustin Henderson. So Dustin is an observer and a protector of the unity within the friendship group. He frequently resolved the conflicts within the group by drawing their attention to what was going on around them. He had a neutral, level-headed approach to 11 and the supernatural events unfolding around them. In some ways, he was a negotiator between the open-minded Mike and the sceptical Lucas. So again, look at those things that are in bold. And speaking of Lucas, let's move on. Lucas Sinclair. Lucas kept his friend group grounded in the plausible and the pragmatic. Even during fantastical D&D campaigns, Lucas was hesitant when speculating about the more unlikely events and scenarios. He was initially wary of 11 and her powers, which further displayed a hesitation towards the abnormal. His sustained realist approach, even during unfathomable situations, indicated that he took the task of finding Will incredibly seriously and was determined to find him. Despite sometimes putting on a defensive and reactionary shell, Lucas was ultimately sweet-natured and had good interests at heart. So there we go, 4 very different characters with 4 very different personalities. So take a minute now to pick one you would like to read first. I've put an image here for you of the basement. So this is the location of our scene. So let us open up the script. So we are going to be looking at scene 5. So here we see the scene number. Sorry, I didn't mean to highlight all of that then. The scene number here, and then we have this text here. So INT, you'll either see an INT or, as you can see up here, an EXT. INT means interior, EXT means exterior. So we know that our scene is taking place inside. Inside where? The Wheeler house. Whereabouts in the Wheeler house? At the basement. What time of day is it? Night. Okay, so already we're being set the scene. These larger bits of text here are our stage directions. This is where we get to know a bit more about the scene, the characters, the dynamic between the characters, and what is happening around us in terms of our location and our situation. We then, in bold, in the centre, have our character name, directly followed by their dialogue. You can see then all the character names are always in capital letters. That helps us navigate through. And then we go on to this next scene. So you're going to see here, I have blanked out a couple of words, swear words, guys, sorry. So they now say trouble. So I'm going to read through everything. And then if you would like to mute the sound when it comes up to your character, please have a go at reading. And if I am going too fast, just pause the video and you can take your time saying the line. Okay, so scene 5. Interior, Wheeler house, basement, night. A group of boys, 12 years old, play Dungeons and Dragons. They sit around a card table. A grid map is spread out on the table before them, along with a nearly empty pizza box, canned Coke, and the all-important Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual. Mike Wheeler, 12, is the Dungeon Master and de facto leader of our group. A shadow grows on the wall behind you. A shadow grows on the wall behind you, swallowing in the darkness. It is almost here. The other boys lean forward, riveted. We survey them. Lucas Sinclair, 12, playing as a knight. He is very small, but his loud mouth more than makes up for it. Dustin Henderson, 12, playing as a dwarf. He is the most fearful and least confident of our group. Will Byers, 12, playing as a wizard. He is soft-spoken, gentle, delicate. What is it? What if it's the Demogorgon? We're in deep trouble if it's the Demogorgon. It's not the Demogorgon. Mike waits for them to settle down. Then, an army of troglodytes charge into the chamber. He slams 6 winged miniatures onto the map. Their tails drum the floor. Boom, boom, boom. Troglodytes? Told ya. Puff. Mike looks over his shoulder. His eyes grow wide. Wait. Do you hear that? Boom, boom, boom. That sound. It didn't come from the troglodytes. No, it came from something else. Mike slams a large 2-headed monster miniature onto the map. The Demogorgon. The boys stare. We're in deep trouble. Will, your action. Will swallows. God, he wishes it wasn't his turn. I don't know. Fireball him. I'd have to roll 13 or higher. Too risky. Cast a protection spell. Don't be a wimp. Fireball him. Protection spell. The Demogorgon is tired of your silly human bickering. It stomps towards you. Boom! Fireball him, Will. Another step. Boom! Cast protection. It roars in anger. Fireball! Protection! And fireball! Will rolls the dice too hard. The dice scatters to the other side of the basement. It lands by the basement steps. What is it? I don't know. Is it a 13? I don't know. The boys scramble to look at the dice when, vroom, the basement door swings open. The boys look up to find Karen Wheeler, late 30s, Mike's mum, standing at the top of the stairs. Mum, we're in the middle of a campaign. You mean the end? She taps her watch. 15 after. And that is the end of the scene. So there's a few things I would like to draw to your attention. On this page, for example, these double dashes mean that the lines are coming in really quickly and they're going to overlap each other. Obviously, you can't practice that on your own, but that's something to bear in mind if you're going to practice with other people. I'm going to leave it at that for now. There's lots more for us to uncover next week. Let me know if you have any questions. You can DM us on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can email us at admin@thetheatreshed.co.uk. Can't wait to see you all next week. Let us know how you get on. Oh, before I leave, obviously this is set in America. So if you can do your American accent, give it a go.